Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we'll be going over the weather pattern that is going on across the United States and why it is so dangerous, why it could be compiling on top of a situation that has been already pretty bad and making it quite a bit more worse. Really just ridiculous heat, lack of rain. That's the bad part. I know there are portions of the United States that are seeing a lot of rain, and that's also kind of an issue. But it's just extremes. You know, one area is seeing a ton of rain, the other area is really not seeing pretty much anything, and extreme heat. So I do want to mention that before we start this video, I will be going on a little trip soon in a few days here. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday I will be gone. I wouldn't be able to upload videos. However, I will pre-record some videos. I think I will release the winter outlook on Friday and a few more during the weekend. There may not be a every single day upload for the next week. But I think I definitely will still upload some, as I will pre-record them, as I mentioned. All right. If you're new, hello and welcome. Consider subscribing if you like the channel. If you watched the video and you enjoy it, consider liking the video as well. And if you have any comments or concerns, leave them down below as I answer most comments. Okay, let's get started. So first off, this pattern. What is going on, and why am I such a alarmist, right? Again, I'm not trying to be one of those people that's alarming everyone about so many different things and trying to cause panic. And you know, even if I was, it's well warranted because of the situation that's going on. So let's take a look at the drought monitor first off, and then everything will kind of fall in place as to what I'm talking about. So first off, look at the northern United States. It's starting to become more and more filled with these patchy red, orange, yellow colors. Those are different severities of droughts. And notice here where's the key? I don't think, oh, there it is. So obviously the worst is the darkest red, exceptional, extreme, and even severe drought is already a pretty significant drought, let alone any of the red colors. And notice there are quite a few areas, especially now, starting to fill in across the Northwest with the red and orange colors. So that's definitely not good. Not a single area that is not under drought in the Northwest and the West. There are areas that are getting better across the Southwest, but look how big that region of exceptional drought is. That is very, very big and concerning. Thankfully, they are getting some precipitation, though really not enough to get rid of the drought, just enough to prevent it from getting worse. Notice the northern U.S., as I mentioned, it is starting to fill in with some colors of orange, red, yellows, and it is the same story across the Northeast. And with the pattern that we have going on, I would not be surprised, I will explain in just a second, for these colors to fill in with at least yellows, maybe some oranges, and even some reds in the next coming weeks. It could be extremely hot, and these areas will probably continue to worsen in their conditions with drought across the northern plains and northwest. Southwest, maybe some improvement, not so much for California or Nevada. So yeah, we are already in a pretty miserable situation because of the previous patterns we've had that have been really lackluster in their precipitation and anything but lackluster with their heat. Let's take a look at this. So this is the GFS, 2-meter temperature shaded, what the thermometer reads. Notice, this is today. Nothing really too extraordinary on a large scale. We are seeing some pretty good heat across Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, but everywhere else, average, I would say, and in some areas quite a bit below average. Now, as it pushes into Wednesday, we see the heat across the north kind of starting to spread. Now into Thursday. Look at that. South Dakota, 100. North Dakota, 100, or hundreds, 90s, upper 90s. The south is relatively tolerable still, and the northeast and east are actually rather cooler. But notice, as we push this forward into this is Thursday actually afternoon. Look at that, 105 already in North Dakota and South Dakota and 102 in North Dakota. Those areas have had already very bad drought, and this is kind of like the cherry on top to finish everything off, this extreme heat. And notice, as we push this forward into now Friday during the day, look at that. 103, 102, a lot of 90s here, and I will show you the precip outlook. It's not looking good. A lot of these areas that are seeing this heat will not be seeing precipitation, or really any of it. And as we push this forward, I do want to mention that, look, it is cooler across the Southwest, and that's because of the monsoons. So that's kind of the saving grace for a few areas, but everywhere else it's rather miserable. Now notice, as we push this into the weekend, right? This is Saturday. Just torrential heat, in other words, to put no other way to put it, across Texas, Oklahoma. This is also very hot for the Northwest. 80s, 90s, that is. It's not the bright hundreds we saw at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the summer, if you recall that heat wave across the Northwest. That was historic by all measures. Canada broke its all-time record high. So same with many states. This is still bad. It's just not historic. That's why I'm not saying it's historic. But compiling on top of what we have, it could lead to a rather unprecedented, concerning situation. Notice California, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, very, very warm. Same with the Plain States. Again, these areas are not in a drought yet. But with such heat and such little precip, it will get bad. Look at that, Montana, 101, 103, just hundreds, widespread hundreds. Look at that, 108, 107, just getting hotter and hotter. Some isolated pockets of 110 plus across North Dakota. This is now into next Tuesday, so a week from today, getting worse and worse. Now this is into Wednesday. Look at that, heat. Again, it kind of does jump. You can see it's a bit cooler now across North Dakota, but it's hotter across Nebraska. Then on Thursday, look at this. We start seeing temperatures that are hotter across Kansas. So, this is exactly hard to predict how many degrees you will be on a certain day or how above average. But the point of the message I'm trying to drive here is that most days will be above average. And for detailed, day-to-day temperatures, check out your National Weather Service. But very, very warm, warming up across the southeast and Texas as well. Notice a bit cooler finally across South Dakota on this day, on Saturday next week. But in the long term, the heat continues, and it's rather relentless. Hundreds, 90s. The West also, this doesn't look as warm as it does here. That's still very above average for the Northwest. And as we push towards the very, very long range, we're out almost 15 days plus. The same story continues. Very, very strong heat. And let me show you the amount of precip that will fall, right? Even if there was a ton of precipitation, that would still be bad. But look at this. That is miserable. Look at Texas. Almost nothing. Oklahoma, very little amounts. A bit more potentially of activity across Nebraska and South Dakota. Yeah, again, still minimal. 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch in such heat is not going to do anything. No, as I mentioned, the Southwest, bits of it will be getting some relief. But again, Nevada, California, northern Utah, even portions of eastern New Mexico starting to get back into potentially drought conditions. And look at Montana, Washington, Idaho. That is very little for amount of heat they'll be seeing. And the 2-meter temperature anomaly basically shows you, where it is above or below average based on the average temperature. Look where the heat is centered, right? Across the north central plains. It does, spread into the east at a few times. But look at the severity of it. It is centered more across the Northwest and the Northern Plains. And as I mentioned, it's still warm across the Northwest. Just because it's not 100 like it is here across Nebraska, it's still, you can see almost the same deviant from average across some of these locations. And this continues. We are now at hour 270, 240. Look, the eastern U.S. and southeastern Canada might actually be getting some cool temperatures, a rather cool summer. But again, that does come with a price, as the rest of the Northwest and southwestern Canada is suffering from that. And look at that. Just relentless heat. Those anomalies are extremely impressive. And in the 384-hour outlook, it continues. And it looks as if the heat is even more dominant across further towards the east. Ensembles, this is many models combined, so it's not just one model that we're looking at, and this is just to prove to you I'm not cherry picking just a single model that's supporting my thesis. Look at this. We see heat, and really the blue colors are minimal, and they're not across the northern plains. They're where they have a lot of rain, so they don't really need that. They could use some heat across the east to dry up the soils, as they are pretty soggy in some areas, especially across New York and New York City, Long Island, Rhode Island, Connecticut. But look at that. These models, 50 of them, to show such an anomaly this far out is rather impressive. So yeah, definitely a very warm pattern. No signs of a major cool off for the Northwest. This mode takes around 7 days, you could see, and puts them out into an average. So you could see that in terms of precip, it's showing yellow colors across the Northwest and Northern Plains. Even if it was slightly green or just normal, that would not be able to upkeep with the amount of evaporation that is occurring with that extreme heat, the hundreds. But notice that it is below average precip, and it is the white colors. So that's just going to lead to drought conditions expanding very, very, very quickly, not just quickly. And where it is wet, it's really, where the heat is kind of absent. So it's kind of where they don't really need it. It would be nice if you could put this color right there. Unfortunately, we can't just modify it like that. If you're to take a look at other models, the Canadian, let's take a look at how much precipitation it shows. Total accumulated precip. Notice really keeping above average across that belt. So maybe a few areas in North Dakota, South Dakota could be seeing some precip. But look at that. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, not much. Same with Texas. Maybe a bit across Oklahoma, the Northwest, mainly dry. And then the bad thing is that you may be wondering, oh, at least they're seeing some rain across the West, with that, with those thunderstorms. A lot of these are dry, they produce dry lightning. It's such a dry air mass that even if there is a thunderstorm that forms, the rain doesn't reach the ground. The lightning does. It starts a fire and boom. I mean, we literally in our forecast all the way in Chicago, we have a patchy smoke today for the night. That is, I don't recall that in our forecast in quite a few years. I think that will be a consistent theme as we go into the late summer and early fall. Wildfire season will be very bad, and it already is bad. Again, the heat from this model, 2-meter temperature anomaly, it's not much better. Notice it does favor a bit more heat towards the east, but as I mentioned before in many videos, I don't like the Canadian model as much for its temperature anomalies. It usually has a pretty bad handle on that stuff, but still, it shows more of a warm than a cool pattern. The European, a very, very reliable model. Let's take a look at what it shows in terms of temperatures. This is Tuesday, which is today. Now this is into Wednesday. Look at that. Tomorrow, very warm, 90s, 80s, hundreds across the northern plains starting up here. But it gets hotter as we go forward. This is now Friday. This is now into Saturday. Look at that. 100 across Kansas, 100 across Oklahoma. Thankfully, these locations have decent soil moisture. But up here, it's not so much. Across the northern plains, the northwest especially, seeing 80s, 90s when it's so dry. That's not good. Look at that. This is now the peak of the heat on Saturday. Very, very warm across the northwest and very warm across Kansas, Nebraska. As you keep chugging this forward, look, hundreds, 102, 103. European in agreement with the GFS to a very strong degree. 108 across South Dakota. That's not good for anything. Again, even if there was a lot of rain, that probably would not be able to keep up with that heat. But there isn't going to be a lot of rain, which is why those drought conditions are going to get worse so quickly. And as we push this forward, maybe a bit of that heat sliding further towards the south again into Kansas, Oklahoma, but that's not good either. It's just developing drought in areas that already that don't have it yet, but probably will. And here, notice it's still hot. Total precipitation, according to the European. Look at that, avoiding the areas that need it the most. Kansas, Oklahoma, very, very, very dry, no rain. The northern plains, North Dakota, South Dakota, very minimal amounts. Even if there were 0.8 of an inch right there for the next 15 days, that would not do much to, kind of keep up that, keep up with those 100-degree temperatures pretty much every single day. Where it does fall is where it's the coolest, and of course that's not really what we need, but that's what Mother Nature does. But even further east, not an incredibly wet pattern. Bouts of precip in some areas, in other areas drying out. And notice the southwest Arizona, according to the European model, is definitely wet, but it's just really Arizona and portions of southern Utah and Colorado, which is good. They need it. They're in a very, very bad drought. But look at that, eastern Colorado drying out, New Mexico drying out. They just were out of the drought. Now they could be going, back into it. California really staying the same. Nevada, maybe the southeast corner, staying a bit wetter. Much of the rest of the state dry. Utah, definitely some improvement. In Wyoming, really not that good news for you either. Idaho, Washington, Oregon, forget about it. That could just go from bad to worse in the next 15 days. And I know I've been making these videos over and over again, but this weather pattern is unprecedented. And if you don't want to admit it, you don't have to watch this video if you're going to complain about it. I just had to say that. Straightforward. Okay, so again, European GFS agreeing on this extremely dry, wet pattern, and this would be already bad if there wasn't even any drought. But again, as I mentioned, they're already in a drought, and it's just going to get worse, probably expand into portions of Kansas, Nebraska. Now, I'm not trying to say that doomsday is coming or this is the end of the world. No, this has happened before. There were worse droughts. There's always still sometimes people in the comment section that say, "Oh, I've seen worse droughts than this." What do you want, a medal for that? Like that's not a way to disvalidate what's going on right now. There probably has been worse droughts. I assume the Dust Bowl is probably worse, but we have to talk about almost 100 years ago. And if we're trying to talk about 100 years back to disvalidate the severity of a weather pattern, that's not cool, right? And as we push this forward into a long-range model, this is the CFS. Again, I mentioned I don't really like using this model because it's really inaccurate, but it's still fun to show what it sees or to show what it shows. But again, notice even this model shows a trend of being a bit drier across the west, northwest. But you can see it's rather inaccurate, and this does go out almost a month. So hopefully this is correct, and we do see some precip here. But again, this model, yeah, you could probably be more accurate with it if you were to ask a child to draw over with colors on here using these charts, and it probably could be as accurate as this model, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. On the National Weather Service today, again, air quality alerts. That's kind of a testimony of what's going on right now. This isn't because of the heat. This is because of a lot of smoke and smog in the air, or not smog, smoke, because of the wildfires and various bush fires going on across the country. Because of the heat, notice again tonight in Chicago, patchy smoke. Again, that smoke has traveled quite a bit of a distance from wherever it is burning. I'm assuming probably either across the west or in southern Canada. Notice the northeast dealing with similar situations, haze. That could be with heat, but again, it's 80, so this again could be because of the wildfires. That the smoke travels across the globe when we have such large wildfires. And notice all the red flag warnings across Washington, Oregon, Idaho, just consistent day to day, pretty much threats of this. And let's just click on Boise, and you can see haze, area of smoke, area of smoke, area of smoke. So yeah, probably the red skies across California coming back in Idaho and whatnot. So yeah, they're warning because they know that the wildfires this year are going to be bad. Where the rain is occurring is again where they don't really need it. There is a powerful line of storms moving from southern Canada into the U.S. Definitely, if you need the rain, that's good. But again, a lot of these locations, I was watching farmers videos on YouTube from Ithaca and upstate New York. Most of these locations don't want any more rain, but that's what they're gonna get, unfortunately. But yeah, that's basically it for today's video, guys. Stay safe, stay tuned, and again, conserve water if you can. Stay hydrated, stay safe. This isn't meant to create panic, it's just meant to create awareness. And notice there is some rain across the northeast Michigan. Just be appreciative of the rain when you do get it, because a lot of folks would kill to have that right now across their location. But of course, that's not a reality for many across the west. Look at that, southeastern Canada getting some storms moving into Toronto, Montreal. That is some good news. There is some precipitation across the west right now, but again, not enough to mitigate the threats that is created by that insane heat. So yeah, you will just have to stay safe and hope for the best. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya.